Is love really the answer? Is there purpose in pain? Can I give what I don't have? Love Beyond, not just another slogan, a new way to look at life, a new way to experience life. What if we saw everyone through the eyes of love? What if we chose to experience everything through the filters of love? What if we chose to love beyond the pain? Love Beyond is about choosing to love more. Love Beyond is about loving beyond the hurt. Love Beyond is about loving beyond the hate. Love Beyond is about loving yourself and loving others. Love Beyond is about Jesus. By this, everyone will know that you are my followers if you love one another.
Today we're going to have a real talk about anxiety. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because according to like a 2015 mental health report by the Child Minds Institute, 80% of kids with a diagnosable anxiety disorder, actually don't get tested for it. And so I think that's kind of crazy to know. And so we're just wanting to see what you guys think about it. So what do you guys think anxiety is?
The cause of overstress, like too much stress in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, I could say it's where you get to a point in your life where, or like a point in a moment where it gets too much, so your body starts basically shutting down, if you look at it that way.
And then you get so scared that you're like, what's gonna happen next? What if I get in trouble? And it's just kind of scary.
All the what ifs start flooding in.
Yeah.
So you guys are saying that anxiety is basically the questioning of the unknown, right?
Yes.
Kind of like not knowing what's gonna happen, right? And why do you guys think so many people, struggle with anxiety?
Anxiety, depression, and stress has all developed into a normal thing that lots of people deal with and are kind of like, okay, this is my norm.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to deal with from now to death.
Yeah.
And keep on living.
Yeah, I totally get that, because a lot of us experience it, right? And especially when you look on social media and stuff, people are like, yeah, doing this at work, or got this promotion, or going to this vacation spot. But deep down inside, we're all kind of like, oh, how about this, how about that, kind of freaking out. What's been your experience with anxiety?
Oh boy.
I had my first.
It's okay.
I had my first panic attack when I was in 4th grade, and I didn't know what it was. I was on the playground and I was playing, and then out of nowhere I started having one, and everybody around me is freaking out, so I'm freaking out even more. And I guess that was the worst one I had, and then I never had one for a good year. And then when I get into middle school, I had another one again. That one almost got me hospitalized. And so, I haven't had one in a while, so I guess that's good, but yeah.
My first big anxiety attack was probably after my first breakup. Because everyone who's gone through that first breakup is like, what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not? They go through probably what I did or not, but I went through all these questions, was I not good enough? Was it something wrong with me? So that's what caused me to break down. And I'm not the person who likes to go to people, have them comfort me. So I ended up crying in my room, and my dad came in and comforted me. My most recent was probably Friday when I had to go get dog food. I ended up crying in my car because of coronavirus. Everything closes at 9 or 8. And that's what had me worried the most. Will I not be able to do this? Will I fail what I was given to do? Will I get in trouble because of this? After that attack, again, I cried for maybe 5 seconds because I'm not big on crying. And I don't know why, but I feel like it makes me look weak because I don't cry in public.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
My friend, she has really bad asthma, so one time she got an asthma attack at school, and I got so scared. I actually started crying because she was my best friend. As soon as the elevator opened, there was a teacher, and she got her to the nurse's office, and she took her inhaler, and she was fine after that, but they had to take her to the hospital. Ever since then, I've been shaking in fear for what can happen.
I totally know how that feels. It feels like kind of asking yourself the question, am I good enough? Am I performing the way people expect me to perform, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
or for me at least, growing up, I always, I'm Asian, and so I always thought I had to get like A's in school, like I had to be a doctor, like my dad literally has a story where he would, hold me as a baby, and he was like, "You're gonna be a doctor when you grow up," and I was like, "Oh snap, okay," but then through a turn of events, I decided to become a pastor, and not receiving that parental approval initially was a big source of my anxiety, right? Because I was so worried not being who they expected me to be. And I feel like that's where a lot of anxiety comes from. Again, the fear of the unknown and, just not really knowing what the result of our hearts is gonna be, And so in your guys' experience with anxiety, did you know that it was anxiety when you first experienced it? Did you have difficulty kind of finding out that it was anxiety? What do you guys think?
Yes.
How so?
I immediately knew it was anxiety because this sort of thing runs in my family.
Yeah.
For me, it was a no, because I was in 4th grade.
Right.
I mean, I always think I had a depression trait with me since I was little. When my mom had me, we were living on the streets because my grandma didn't want to deal with me. And so, that kind of carried on. 4th grade, I had my first panic attack. My teacher was like, "Do you know what it is?" And I was just like, "No." And so she explained it to me. And then after that, I never had it for a while, so I completely forgot about it. I had a friend who was always with me all the time, so like me being depressed was never, like my depressive side never came out when he was around. So when we stopped being friends, that's when everything just came all at once. So, and that was like probably the lowest point of my life, I had to say. So, yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Well, one of the first times that I got anxiety, I knew that it was anxiety because I got my first B ever in my final report card. I know it's not that serious, but my mom doesn't like me getting B's. I've been a straight A student all my life, but last year was the first time I got 3 B's in 3 different classes. So I was like, oh my stars, and I looked up what it was. I was like, oh, I had anxiety. Well.
So did your guys' acceptance of your anxiety change the way you viewed yourself?
I did a little bit because of all the what ifs.
Right.
I kind of I didn't know what to do because that was kind of like my first experience with the depression and the anxiety and the stress all together.
Yeah.
So it was like I should tell people, but now I've stopped telling people because my mom's like, you don't tell people for whatever reason. You don't want to burden them or whatever. So this is like the first time in quite a while that I've told people about it. It wasn't that I couldn't breathe, it was just all the what ifs came, like was I not good enough, was the depression too much, was this, that, and the other interfering with my relationship. Like always, I put the blame on myself.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, I feel like I will put the blame on myself no matter what.
For me, I mean, I don't necessarily know because the way I looked at it with the anxiety was when I said, like I said before, I lost my best friend. So for me to have panic attacks or have a depressive moment, it was never there because I never had the opportunity to feel that way because he was just always constantly there. And, whenever I was sad, he would just make me smile, laugh. And it was basically like me and him against the world. That's what it was. And so to be friends with someone since 2nd grade and get to high school and lose them just like that, it took a really bad toll on me. And I was depressed for a good minute. I was getting panic attacks every day whenever I saw him at school because we used to go to the same school. So I would get panic attacks when we were in class. I would get panic attacks. I was running out of school. I failed freshman year actually because of that. And so, I mean, after a good while, I was just like, and I was always trying to find a way to get better and be like, oh, I'm not depressed no more. But at one point, I was just like, you know what? There's nothing I can do about it. It's not getting better. I mean, it's not getting worse, but it's still there, so.
I have anxiety, and I accepted it, obviously, but I still view myself the same exact way. I'm nice to people. I still make people laugh. I'm just the same exact person I was in preschool. elementary school and now I'm going to middle school. So it's not like I viewed myself differently, but obviously I was like, I didn't like having anxiety attacks like that, but I didn't really care because I talked to my mom about it. And since I talked to my mom about it, I don't feel like I have to talk to anyone else about it besides God, because he's the number one person that I would talk to.
That's a good way, and I love what you were saying, Nisi, because you said that you felt a safe place to share your experiences with anxiety with your mom, with God, and we have this place for all of us to talk about it, right? Because these don't happen often. And so, what are some ways that you guys have handled your anxiety? Maybe ways that you've succeeded, and maybe ways that you've kind of not so succeeded.
I just have time to myself. I don't let anyone bother me. I go into the garage, I play the piano. I just do anything that I can do by myself, because I'm a people person, but not when it comes to me being mad or sad or just having an anxiety attack.
I'm the same way. Often I'll go into my room and just be by myself and just read or do something by myself in my room.
For me, I have to say, when I have my panic attack, there's like most of my dangerous moments, I guess, because I have asthma. So having a panic attack sometimes triggered my asthma. So I had to have people around me when I have panic attacks, because if it gets really bad, it will get really bad. So I don't necessarily really have a way that I stop my attacks. I mean, I try, just because I get scared and think I'm about to die or something, or for a while I didn't have my inhaler, so I mean I try to breathe, obviously, but maybe my therapist told me to do something. It's called a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So basically I just look out in the room and count down stuff, and like a smell, a touch, a color, or a texture or something, and that actually really helps a lot. Yeah,
That's awesome, and that's awesome that you're getting help too, because a lot of us, whenever we deal with stuff like this, it's very hard for us to even muster up the strength to get help, right? Because for me, I always had this idea, like, I could just brush it off my shoulder, right? Or kind of be like, I can handle it by myself. But I realized when I get help, really that's a better sign of strength and stuff, So maybe a question that I want to ask you guys is, what would you say to somebody that's dealing with anxiety right now? What would you want to say to them?
you're not dying.
That's real. Yeah, that's real.
Because but that's what it feels like when you first get your first panic attack. It literally feels like you're dying. But, you'll be okay. Just breathe and calm yourself down. If people around you don't necessarily know how to deal with panic attacks, don't have them around you, because they will make you more stressed and make you feel like you really are gonna die.
I would most likely say it's okay to not be okay, because a lot of people often, including myself, act like everything's fine, everything's great. Like, we walk into a building like, hey, what's up? I'm doing great, life's great, everything's grand, but on the inside we're dying and just being torn apart. So I just want to say it's okay to not be okay, and that there is help wherever you need it. You can turn to your close family members or someone you really trust, and they will help you.
Yeah. I appreciate that, guys. I want to share a Bible verse found in Psalms chapter 94, verse 19. And it says, when anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. I like the text because, like, David is literally saying that the anxiety that lives within inside of him is a real thing. He's not ignoring it. He's not, throwing it under the rug, but he's saying, when anxiety was great inside of my heart, that God's comfort brought me a lot of joy. And so, guys, I think it's important for us to just be honest with ourselves. And today we were honest with ourselves, right? And I don't know about you, but today brought me a lot of comfort, knowing that you guys are not alone, and that this is a safe place for us to talk about this stuff. So.
We are in a world filled with chaotic conditions. Political upheaval, justice issues, climate problems, and now a global pandemic that has infected millions of people. This chaos is not just externally, but also carried within ourselves. We are in chaos mode because of the pain we carry. We are in chaos mode because of the brokenness spreading through our DNA. What is causing chaos in your hearts today? Money, lack of money, relationships, family conflict, COVID-19, racial injustice, anger, depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts? Sometimes the chaos in our lives seems too much to handle, while the emotional pressure clouds our ability to think straight. The pain we carry is real. The anxiety we suffer is paralyzing. And the fear to move forward is consuming our lives. Brokenness comes in different forms. Some of us have broken relationships. Some of us have a broken body, a broken mind, broken point of view, or a broken understanding of life. Much of this causes anxiety. Anxiety fogs up our outlook. It creates a blurred vision of our future, which in turn removes hope from our life. So, is there hope? Is there light at the end of this anxious-filled tunnel? Do we have a solution to our broken hearts? The answers are not simple. But millions have discovered hope in a person named Jesus. A prophet named Isaiah once said that this Jesus would come to heal the brokenhearted. When he came, he told everyone that he had come to set them free from their pain, guilt, physical sickness, mental illness, emotional issues, and anxiety. He came to mend the broken. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. In many instances, Jesus spoke and healing took place. I've discovered that today, he has chosen other humans to be his hands and feet. He has chosen for doctors, friends, parents, coaches, other family members, pastors, and sometimes total strangers to help us heal. Jesus can do miracles through anyone to help us heal. Jesus shows us how much he loves us in different ways and different people. He leads us to a place of healing. He leads us into his loving and caring arms. It is those arms of love that we find peace, strength, hope, and healing. So what are you waiting for? Talk to someone that Jesus has chosen to help you heal.